Do you love Christmas and all of the time-honored traditions that come with it? Everyone has their favorite Christmas traditions. It's the time of year where we put actual trees inside our homes, cook elaborate meals, and hope that a fat man comes crashing down the chimney to give us free stuff. It doesn't get better than that.
Santa's coming to town! Santa! Oh my God!
Now, if you are like us, then your favorite tradition is putting on the best Christmas movies and having a couple too many festive cocktails. If you are looking for new holiday viewing options to make you laugh, make you cry, and give you the Christmas feels, then you're in luck. Because today, Scarlett Media presents our top 10 movies that save every Christmas. Watch till the end and give us a like and subscribe if your favorite flick is on the list. Or comment below if we missed the film that makes your season jolly. Number 10. A Christmas Story. All Ralphie wants for Christmas is an official Red Ryder carbine action 200-shot range model air rifle. And I mean, pretty sure that's something all Americans can relate to, right? A gun for Christmas. What could go wrong? This nostalgic 80s classic reminds us of the true spirit of Christmas. Shopping malls, and school bullies. Plus, it's got a lot to teach us about science. I mean, it wasn't until I saw this movie that I learned if you stick your tongue on an icy pole, it'll get stuck there. What a fun, clever little experiment that was. If you are looking for a time-honored film with ultimate levels of nostalgia to warm the cockles of your heart, then A Christmas Story is the movie for you. Plus, it plays on a constant loop on cable all of December, so you'll probably end up watching it anyway. Number 9. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Another 80s Christmas classic. The third in its franchise is a fan favorite everywhere. And you know, that in itself is pretty cool. How many times does the third movie in a series actually slap? So good for you, National Lampoon. Pat yourself on the back. This John Hughes film starring Chevy Chase is absolutely packed with holiday shenanigans, downright hilarity, and a whole lot of heart. Chase plays Clark Griswold, one of those lovable, well-meaning dads who have an uncanny ability to take everything just a little too far. All Clark wants to do is give his family a perfect Christmas. And all we want to do is watch the disaster that ensues when he continuously and without fail screws everything up. If you really want to get your holiday schadenfreude on, then watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation and laugh at Chase's character literally getting electrocuted by Christmas lights. We won't judge. Number 8. A Nightmare Before Christmas. Are you a fan of Tim Burton, Henry Selick, and Danny Elfman? Well, so are we. And if you have never heard of them before,
what's this? There's powder everywhere. What's this? There's white things in the air. What's this?
Well, come on out of that rock you've been hiding under, because you're in for a treat. Halloween and Christmas, together at last in this wonderful, twisted, freaky, but heartfelt musical that is A Nightmare Before Christmas. With stop-motion animation that adds to the creepy vibes and Halloween-like atmosphere, this movie is a craze fest of weirdness. And yet, it still manages to hit us right in the feels. I mean, who knew we'd actually sympathize, and even root for, a scary-looking skeleton who literally kidnaps Santa? If your movie preferences lean towards the non-traditional, if you crave music that is beautiful, dark, and haunting, and if you love bizarre, brooding anti-heroes, then this movie is a must-watch to save your Christmas. Number 7. Scrooged. Now, we knew we needed some version of the Christmas Carol on this list, and admittedly, it was tough to choose between the original Christmas Carol, A Muppets Christmas Carol, and Scrooged. Ultimately, we landed on Scrooged because it's hilarious and it stars Bill Murray. And who doesn't love Bill Murray? Scrooged hit the theaters in 1988 and blessed audiences everywhere with a grumpy, heartless character named Frank Cross, who transforms before their eyes into a loving and kind Christmas fanatic. Naturally, Frank's supernatural transformation is aided by time travel and 3 ghosts, a taxi driver, a volatile fairy, and, well, death, because of course it does. If that doesn't tickle your Christmas funny bone, then a random end-of-movie musical sequence that is as cheesy as it is amazing just might. If Grinch-like movies are more your style, or you're just not feeling Christmas this year, then this supernatural redemption story might just be the one to save your Christmas. And remind you of what Christmas is really about. Number 6. Die Hard. If you're a man's man that every once in a while goes down to the boardwalk and throws your own feces like a gorilla, then Die Hard is the Christmas movie for you. While everyone else snuggles under a blanket, drinks hot chocolate, and watches Christmas feely flicks, you can throw back a cold one and watch all the mayhem ensue in a Christmas movie that includes terrorists, hostage situations, and red, flashy police car lights. Plus, McClane's wife is named Holly. I mean, doesn't get more Christmas than that. So while you're settling into your couch, choosing between Die Hard and, I don't know, Hallmark Channel's Jingle All The Way, for God's sake, just choose Die Hard. You won't regret it. No one regrets watching this movie. Even Santa Claus watches this movie, in between bites of Christmas cookies. Be like Santa. Choose Die Hard. Number 5. Miracle on 34th Street. Nothing says Christmas quite like the 1947 film Miracle on 34th Street. Honestly, watching this movie feels like being wrapped in a huge, warm hug by Santa Claus himself. This movie won multiple Academy Awards, including Best Actor, Best Writing, and Best Picture, which is pretty remarkable for a Christmas film. And if black and white classics aren't your thing, but Christmas miracles are, you're in luck. There's a 90s remake with the same title, which is fun and uplifting too. This movie is a Christmas classic that should be required viewing every December. If you're the moviegoer that believes in miracles, or you're just a person in need of a little hope after the turmoil that this year wrought, then give this movie a watch. It's like a little miracle in itself. Number 4. Elf.
I didn't know you had elves here.
You're hilarious, my friend.
Okay, aside from our Grinch neighbor Karen, who hates fun and has no soul, who doesn't love Elf? Am I right? This movie, starring Will Ferrell, is downright hilarious. Ferrell plays Buddy the Elf, a human raised by elves who winds up in New York City to meet his human dad, who, it turns out, is a total bummer. Buddy is a lovable elf who sees the best in everyone and who is a little different. Okay, a lot different. But what's not to love about someone who eats chewed gum off of New York subway rails? Totally adorkable. Anyone who skips out on watching Elf at Christmas has no heart, and worse, no sense of humor. Karen. If you're looking for some much-needed faith in humanity, a whole lot of laughs, and a comedy that is perhaps a little politically incorrect, then this Christmas classic is definitely the one for you. Number 3. A Charlie Brown Christmas. The Peanuts really know how to make a good holiday movie, and there's nothing that says Happy Holidays quite like Charlie Brown. Plus, it's funny to watch Charlie Brown all depressed before he learns the true meaning of Christmas, which we all know is presents. Yeah, I see you PS5 sitting under the tree just waiting to be opened. I mean, the true meaning of Christmas is totally friends and family. A Charlie Brown Christmas is a cozy fan favorite packed with everything Christmas, from ice skating to a Christmas play. You'll love hearing the Peanuts shout, "Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown," as literal tears of happiness well up in your eyes. If you're looking for a hit of holiday nostalgia to be reminded of your childhood and why you love holidays in the first place, then A Charlie Brown Christmas is the movie for you. Number 2. Home Alone. Home Alone is a favorite for a reason, and it's perhaps one of the most beloved Christmas films of all time. This fun, quirky, and hilarious movie starring everyone's favorite child star turned weirdo, Macaulay Culkin, tells the story of a little boy who is left behind at Christmas and then must defend his home from a pair of ridiculous wet bandits. This movie has all the antics of classic Christmas chaos, mixed with messages about family, loneliness at Christmas, love, and what matters most of all, Macaulay Culkin's amazingly impressive booby traps. If you impossibly haven't seen this movie before, or like us are die-hard fans of Home Alone, then this is an absolute must-watch this Christmas season. You filthy animal. Before we get to our number 1 choice on this list, the movie that has been saving Christmas for like 100 years now, hit that like and subscribe button to make sure Santa does not load up your stocking with coal. Number 1. It's a Wonderful Life. There isn't a Christmas movie list in the world that doesn't feature this legendary holiday classic. George Bailey, played by James Stewart, is planning to commit suicide on Christmas Eve. when he is visited by an angel who shoots out of the sky and reminds George of just how much he matters. This movie is the one to watch while you decorate your tree with your family and friends and think about just how grateful you are to have what you have. When it's finished, you'll want nothing more than to hug everyone you know and remind them how much you love them. Or at least send them a text that says, "You up?" This Frank Capra classic is an absolute must-watch every Christmas, especially after a hard, long year when you just need a little reminder that it is, indeed, a wonderful life. What do you think of our list of movies that saved Christmas? Are there any Christmas classics you love that we failed to mention? Let us know in the comments below. Before the year ends, we at Scarlett Media would like to wish you all a Merry Christmas. And once again, thanks for watching.
When it comes to Christmas movies, people can't seem to get enough. From hundreds of Hallmark and Lifetime Christmas movies with the exact same plot, to sequels and full series that never happened, the obsession with Yuletide content has produced some seriously steaming lumps of coal. Could people have been happy with just rewatching Home Alone and Die Hard? Is it a Christmas movie? We think so, but audiences everywhere seem to disagree, and that's why we're here today. Call us Scrooge, call us Grinch, call us whatever you like. Someone needs to speak truth to pine-scented power, and that someone is us. Though we all love popping popcorn, making hot cocoa, and wrapping ourselves in a blanket burrito in front of the TV, nothing makes us, and Santa, cry icicle tears harder than a Christmas movie that falls flat. So today, Scarlett Media presents our top 10 movies that ruin Christmas and kill the Christmas spirit so thoroughly they give the Grinch a run for his money. If you feel that Grinchy spirit, don't forget to like and subscribe, or leave some coal on the dislike button if you disagree and don't mind being wrong. Number 10. Home Alone 3. It's entirely possible that you've escaped the curse of knowing that a Home Alone 3 even exists. It's so horrible, people try not to mention it. But don't worry, you're not missing anything. We watched it so you don't have to. First and foremost, who the hell is this child? One does not simply make a Home Alone movie without Macaulay Culkin. That would be like leaving Mariah Carey off a Christmas playlist. Secondly, poor man's Culkin basically goes through the exact same plot as the first movie.
Terrible feeling
Know what?
that we didn't do something.
Except they added some complicated bit about North Korean spies and a microchip that we don't fully understand. Needless to say, the Christmas-loving world learned the hard way that lightning can only strike once when it comes to small, blonde children booby-trapping their house against wanted criminals. More does not always equal better. Number 9. I'll Be Home for Christmas. This one hurts us more than it hurts you. We all wanted I'll Be Home for Christmas to work. The 90s most beloved teen actor Jonathan Taylor Thomas was fresh off Home Improvement, and audiences were excited to see where JTT's acting career would take him next. Turns out, not very far. Rotten Tomatoes probably sums this up best, with the critical consensus being, neither parent nor child will find any merriment in this mess. Factor in the very strange plot of a son who hasn't come home for Christmas since his mum died being bribed by his father with a Porsche, as well as the truly unfortunate dialogue that has college students referencing swirlies for some reason, and you've got a truly Grinch-worthy Christmas movie. Number 8. Christmas Prince. Christmas Prince was essentially marketed as Netflix's version of a Hallmark Christmas movie, and technically we can't fault them since they basically succeeded. We just expected more from Netflix, and for that we will shame them. The plot revolves around a reporter who is assigned to report on the royal family of a made-up country. In order to get access to the family, she pretends to be the tutor for the Queen's daughter, who has spina bifida. Eventually, the girl learns the reporter's secret, but doesn't care because she treats her like a normal person and not like a disabled child, and they bond and find love in unexpected places. Is this the main plot? No. The writers decided it's more in the Christmas spirit to focus on the eldest royal child, who doesn't want to be king despite pressure from the family and who, spoilers if you care, turns out not to be a blood relative to the family anyway. The princess briefly talks about how she can't become queen because of the patriarchy, and then we turn our focus back to the prince, where we learn that the dead king's dying wish was to change the way the line of succession is done and wants the prince to be king despite not being a blood relative. Could he have changed all the rules and let the female child be queen? Apparently not. The ending is more Christmassy still because, of course, the prince, now king, proposes to the reporter despite having known each other for approximately 2 weeks. Also, all the people playing Brits are American, and all the people playing Americans are Kiwis, and we do not understand these casting choices. Number 7. Happiest Season. We know this one's going to be a bit controversial, so feel free to leave us ice-cold comments. Audiences were so excited when it was announced that a proper studio Christmas movie starring Kristen Stewart, Dan Levy, and a bunch of comedians would be released to Hulu, not to mention the fact that it would center around an LGBT love story. There was a light at the end of the pandemic Christmas tunnel. Unfortunately, the movie focused so singularly on the crappy behavior of Stewart's movie girlfriend that audiences were left without any feelings of Christmas cheer. They made the girlfriend's character so unlikable, in fact, that the consensus around the Twitter sphere is that everyone was rooting for Kristen Stewart and Aubrey Plaza, who played the girlfriend's ex. If that doesn't tell you how crappy a person is, we don't know what does. The many comedians, Dan Levy included, had great moments on their own, but it wasn't enough to save the oddly placed and not very jolly movie. It can essentially be summed up as a bad attempt at a modernized version of The Birdcage, with snow. Number 6. Jingle All The Way. This 1996 Christmas movie starring none other than Arnold Schwarzenegger is a staple on bad Christmas movie lists. And for good reason. The rare 15% on Rotten Tomatoes can be attributed primarily to the fact that it doesn't even know what kind of movie it is. It vacillates widely between satirical commentary on materialism and insane slapstick comedy. Add to that the Governator trying to be lighthearted and jolly, and you've got a lot of cringeworthy moments. Even though it is decidedly a killer of Christmas spirit, we think you should give it a try for its unintentional laughs alone. Knock back an eggnog or 5 and enjoy Arnold and Sinbad duke it out over the one remaining toy coveted by all children. Just don't expect to be filled with love of all by the end. Number 5. Frozen. Get those angry replies stewing like a Christmas pot roast because we're coming for your faves. Fans are still unsure whether Frozen is technically a Christmas movie. But we don't care because, Christmas movie or not, it has ruined Christmas. To parents who have to buy their kids a new Elsa dress every Christmas since they grew out of the last one, to the average bachelor and bachelorette who miss decorations that don't have the face of a buck-toothed snowman on them, adults everywhere are experiencing Frozen fatigue. We never had a chance when they wrote a song so deeply connected with snow and cold weather. Human beings are terrible people and can't help themselves when it comes to singing songs relevant to their surroundings. And that has never been more true. One simply cannot make it through the Christmas season without having "The cold never bothered me anyway" screamed in their face at least once. It might be a delightful Disney classic, but we would like for the holidays to let it go. Number 4. Santa Claus 3: The Escape Clause. Audiences loved the Santa Claus so much. Multiple 90s kids still misspell the man's name Claus instead of Claus. In true Christmas spirit, studios wanted to capitalize on this success as much as possible, and decided that there were addendums to the original Santa Claus. The first added clause was the plot of the second movie in the series, where he was required to find a wife. It was just meh. When it was announced that Martin Short would be in the third and final installment, audiences were excited. Surely the comedy duo that is Martin Short and Tim Allen would revive the series to its original glory. Spoiler alert, it did not. Basically, it is revealed that if a Santa ever wants to stop being Santa, they just have to hold a special snow globe and say they wish they'd never been Santa. Kind of a weird combination of The Wizard of Oz and It's a Wonderful Life. Martin Short, who plays Jack Frost, decides he really hates Santa and tries to force him into saying this. Critical consensus is mostly that it's just as boring as watching red and white paint dry. Not even Martin Short's over-the-top performance could save it. One film critic literally said it's the cinematic equivalent of tertiary syphilis. Even if it were watchable, we could never forgive them for taking Bernard the Elf from us. Number 3. Christmas with the Kranks. Oh, Tim Allen, how far you have fallen. Audiences were understandably excited for Christmas with the Kranks. Tim Allen had cemented himself as a holiday classic, Jamie Lee Curtis is a national treasure, and Dan Aykroyd is one of the best comedic actors. Alas, Santa would not be delivering a box office success. Basically, Jamie Lee and Tim Allen decide they don't want to do Christmas this year and decide to boycott it, and their neighbors, Dan Aykroyd and a woman, are really upset about this. They try to force Christmas on them, and we give them some credit here because making people do stuff they don't want is at the heart of every Christmas gathering. Also, Dan Aykroyd's wife is revealed to have cancer because it isn't a Christmas movie until some middle-aged woman is sick with a tragic disease. Major complaints are that it's deeply unfunny slapstick, and unfunny slapstick is just sadder than a sparse Christmas tree. It has an impressive 5% on Rotten Tomatoes, and for that, we applaud them. Number 2. Fred Claus. Fred Claus is particularly disappointing because if you told us right now they were making a movie where Vince Vaughn plays the jealous younger brother to Paul Giamatti's Santa Claus, we would forget all about the trauma of the actual movie and fork over all of our Christmas money to see it. As it turns out, the universal downfall of poorly received Christmas movies is an inability to combine sentimentality and too much slapstick. We're not sure who decided Christmas was the kind of holiday that needed a Three Stooges vibe, but we have a feeling it might have been Jack Frost. Watching Paul Giamatti's Claus have a snowball fight with Vince Vaughn sounds funny, but if you're trying to get in the Christmas spirit, we assure you this is not the place to go. The snowball fight features devastatingly terrible CGI and devolves quickly into attempted vehicular manslaughter. Fred, you really are a disappointment. Before we get to the number 1 way Hollywood is trying to thaw our Christmas spirit, leave us a gift under the subscribe button and ring that holiday notification bell so you never miss our list of more movies, shows, and games we can hate together. Number 1. The Christmas Shoes. The freaking Christmas shoes. We're going to try and get through this one without screaming, but we can't make any promises. First of all, this entire movie is based off of a song. Not a book, not a play, not a short story, a song. The song takes you laboriously through a story about a man who watches a dirty, poor little boy try to buy a pair of shoes for his mother who is apparently dying very soon, but the boy does not have enough money. The man, of course, buys the shoes for the boy because every man wants to imagine himself being the hero in what amounts to tragedy porn set to music. Surprisingly, turning this story into a motion picture did not make it any more palatable. It's even more vomit-inducingly schmaltzy and fake than the song we all suffered through in 2000. It somehow has 84% on Rotten Tomatoes, and we suspect a Christmas conspiracy. Do you agree with our list? What movies make or break your holiday season? Check out our other Christmas video to see if it made the list, and stay tuned for more videos every week. And as always, thanks for watching.